Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to Butte, Montana. Now, yesterday, whenever I left off, I was just about 35 miles outside of Coeur d'Alene, and I went to a mission, and it was absolutely epic. But then I started trying to figure out exactly how far along I needed to get for my package for my van so I can fix my electrical setup. And I realized that my second package is arriving today, and I got the same notification that I have 2 days to pick up the packages. So by the math of that, the first package arrived yesterday, which means I have today and tomorrow. So I need to be there by tomorrow, basically. Long story short, so my package doesn't get sent back. I don't know why they divided it up, but they just did. So I drove and drove and drove, and it was a beautiful drive. But I made it to Butte. And here I am. I'm gonna go ahead and get the van ready for the day because I'm moving around. I decided I'm gonna do a couple activities here in the Butte area, and I'm just gonna take you guys along for the day in the life. So here we go. Definitely have to dump my trash before I leave this Walmart. Okay, if I can get my panel cleaned off, that's gonna help with my solar a little bit. It's pretty dusty up there. Gone down a lot of nasty, nasty roads. Okay, that's done. Pulling a few more. I was pulling about 30, now I'm pulling about 48. Next time I get my ladder out, I'm gonna go over it really, really well with a Norwex cloth. That should clean it up the rest of the way, but for now, just knocking the dust off is helpful. 77 in the van, not too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start taking down my windows, and we can talk about it. Yesterday, I was trying to figure out where the best place for me to end up would be so that I could get closer to my end destination, which is Blackfoot, Idaho. And that's where my package is gonna be. Originally, my package was said to have been shipped and it would be arriving on Friday. Then they split the packages and one got here yesterday, which was Tuesday. Love that for me. Also, normally you have 4 days at an Amazon Dropbox. However, I received a notification from Amazon saying I had 2 days to go pick up the package. Long story short, that meant I had to hustle my behind all the way from way over here, or I guess for you guys, it would be way over here to way over here, crossing the entire state of Idaho and back into Montana, because the quickest route would either take me down through all of Idaho and over, which was about 12 hours, or I could take one that was 7 hours, which would take me back into Montana and down. So I chose the one that's 7 hours. That just made logical sense because I'm not gonna be able to enjoy anything along that 12-hour path at all. And so I basically got on to the road and power drove myself all the way this way. Okay, cutting through the parking lot to that trash can right over there to do our trash dumping. Oh, creative, be creative. Oh, there we go. I do still have a few things that I need to put away, but this bag expanded as I went up in altitude, so I can't put it where I was going to. Other than that, I'm gonna move this so it doesn't fall. And check to make sure everything is charging since the van is on. Yep. And then of course the one off of the panel is, we know, so that's all good. So overall, great start to the day. At some point today, I have a couple patches in my little patch thing up here that I need to put on the ceiling, but I may collect at least one more today, so I'm just gonna leave that there for now. And last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my bracelets because I always enjoy feeling a little bit more put together. I haven't quite made it to the adventure yet, but with that said, oh my goodness. They had a fire here more recently, and so it's pretty smoky, but the views from where I am are so incredible, and I'm gonna have to just show you what I have seen all around this area. So clearly it's very smoky here right now, and you can see that. Despite that, I can actually breathe pretty well, but look at this. Oh, that's so neat. And here on this kind of really weathered and abused sign, it basically says that mine reclamation on Butte Hill began in the 1980s as the community worked to remediate contaminated mining areas. This is insane. I can only imagine on a clear day that this would look even more spectacular, because again, these things are everywhere here. And Butte, again, is known as the Copper Kings, so it makes sense. So neat. Now with that said, it is boiling hot. My air conditioner is running on the van and clearly having a little bit of a moment because it's just sitting, so let's get going. See, you can just barely see that whole mountain over there. Just barely. I've said this before, I'll say it again. My life in the van looks pretty different than most people's. Today I showed you the things that I do actually in the van before I hit the road and do all the adventures. And that's pretty much my everyday life. I get in the van, drive it till the wheels fall off, find a place to sleep, and that's about it. Every so often, I set up at a camp for a while, but it's very rare. And even whenever I was staying at Charles and Tony's, every single day I was going somewhere. I didn't sit for a solid day the entire time I was there, because my life is about exploring and adventure. And that's what's so great about all of my adventure friends, is they totally get that. And they see that, like, my goal is to share as much knowledge with the world as I possibly can. I always think of it this way. We each have the ability to make an impact on the world around us. And how we choose to do that is literally our choice. We can do it however we want. My choice, though, is to share as much knowledge as I can, to be a part of helping people to realize that they can travel, to understanding all the places that are out there. For those who can't travel, to give them an experience online that can take them away from what might be happening in their everyday life so that they can see something epic. And for those who are abroad, to show them our beautiful country. And I love that. But again, along the way, I do share the normal stuff that you guys ask for because you do see me here in the van. And normally, again, it just doesn't look like sitting. I'm not a sit and stay. I'm more of a go and blow kind of gal. So since showing you guys that mountain, about 30 minutes has passed and it definitely looks like a rain is trying to come. Realistically, rain would be a great thing. It would simmer some of that smoke. But in the meantime, it has made everything real weird. The wind started just gusting and it made it really difficult to film what I was filming, but I put it together. I got it together, guys. With that said, I'm not sure what's down this road over here, but I'm kind of curious, so I think I'm gonna drive down a little bit further. I am gonna consult my map first to make sure I don't end up somewhere weird, but today's an adventure day, and this is my adventure path, and what a wonderful world we live in. Okay, windshield's pretty grimy because of the bugs, but along the way, look at these views, guys. Look at these views. These are impressive. Oh, that's unfortunate. This sign looks like it's pretty washed out. That's why we drive around and figure things out, though. So would that have been neat to have some extra context? Yes. However, I am going to look up to see if there's a driving tour that you can get to, that you can do as like a self-guided thing. Sometimes there's like a self-guided audio tour. And I've got a couple apps, so in a minute, whenever I get to another stopping point, I'll check that out. But yeah, Butte's been pretty neat so far. Like, beautiful, great views, so many cool facts. And again, there's a lot of different things that you can do whenever you're here if you do want to do a regular tour. So if I could just find a self-guided, that would be epic. Okay, I found myself a good pull-off on the opposite side from where the memorial is, and I just got sprinkled on, so it is going to rain a little bit, but I don't know how much that's going to be, so I'm not going to freak out just yet. I came over here because I wanted you guys to see the trail. The trail goes through all of these different points and it has various stops. Okay, so literally we came up and then we did this circle right here, so that's the entire circle, and it shows you where the signs are. These were the signs that were completely washed out. This is the one that I just went to. These I've kind of been able to see from up here, but they're down on the trail. And because now it's raining, I'm not going to do the trail. You can cycle on this, and I believe that you can use an e-bike. I don't know about scooters, but I know you can walk it. I haven't seen any signs saying you can't use scooters, so there's that. That's kind of a neat thing also. There's another trail in town also that I saw that was a nice paved trail, and I did see somebody on an e-bike on that earlier today. So if you enjoy cycling, there's lots of options in Butte. Okay, I looked up the weather. It is supposed to really rain here later, so I'm not going to do anything outdoors. Starbucks sounds great, but at the same time, like, I could do that a little bit later down the line. I do need to have one good office day before I meet up with Riley, but I don't want to do that today. Instead, I kind of decided, why not just move on? And in doing so, I'm going to stay at my very first Harvest Toast, and it's one that I'm very excited about. So I have a package in Blackfoot. It's about 3 hours away from here, which I know is a lot. However, there's a Harvest Toast in Blackfoot that I am so excited to stay at, and they had availability for tonight, but not tomorrow. So I'm gonna do it tonight, and we're gonna stay at the Idaho Potato Museum. Now, I'll talk about Harvest Toast a little bit more on a separate video so you guys can understand it a little bit more, and I'll show you what that looks like and all of that, and we'll go into detail. But I picked up Harvest Toast because I have made modifications to my van to make it where I can be off-grid. I don't have to worry about services and things like that, and I qualified for it, and so I thought this would give me an interesting way to see a lot of different places. Now, with that said, I haven't used it on this trip yet, but I wanted to use it here first. What a cool story. My first Harvest Toast is at a literal place that talks about harvest. It's gonna be so fun. Going down the hill in Butte. You can see what I'm talking about the city being built on a hill. Definitely coming back to Butte, definitely. I have seen so many cool things. Each of the mines is labeled with the depth and when it was founded.
At the stop sign, turn right
really
onto
neat.
West Greenwich.
Okay, $21.97 for gas, and then I got something to eat on the road so I don't have to like pull out my freezer and do all that because I'm tired right now. Whew! It started raining as I was going through the parking lot because I went inside to use the restroom and get this, and then by the time I got out it was not raining, but wow, it just for like a second. Well, I still have about 140 miles and it started raining again. So slowing it down just a little bit. I do want to pull over and change over to my other DC plug so I can continue charging my power station. So in this parking area in 1 mile, I'm going to do that and hopefully I won't get poured on. That's the goal at least. We'll see what happens. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm currently pulling out 43. I don't know how much I'm pulling in though, but I'm at 60% currently. Also, this thing is almost completely charged, so that's good. And that one's at 94, and I'm about to plug it back in. Okay, that's in now. Fortunately, it didn't rain while I was stopped here, so that's good. I didn't get wet. That's awesome. Everything is looking pretty good. It will be nice to have those cords just so I can make this a little bit easier so I don't have to use one to charge another one, and then I can just kind of rotate through the solar panel and then the 2 DC ports, which realistically will be a lot more efficient. It'll be back to regular charging as usual. So now I'm back on the road. I pulled off at this little parking area. It says very specifically whenever you pull off at these, no overnighting. And so if you do happen to be going through Montana and you see these, make sure you check the signs. Immediately the rain started again, so I just had that perfect window. I'm approximately 4 miles away. I had to text the Harvest Toast to tell them I'm going to be a little bit closer to 4:30 just because of this traffic that's been going on. We were at a standstill for a while, so it's been super interesting, but I am so excited because this is my first Harvest Toast, but also because I've been driving all day and I'm pretty tired. The traffic on the other side of the road though is insane, just like it was on ours. Ooh, okay, so I just went through the museum. It was epic. When you do Harvest Toast, you're supposed to purchase something, and I purchased not only a patch, but also admission. It was so cool. I loved it. I had so much fun. But I do think I'm supposed to move over to the other side, so I'm about to get my keys out somewhere in here. There we go. I'm gonna move to the other side where I can park for the night and all will be good. Okay, I'm all set up for the evening. I'm just kind of waiting to put my window stuff up because it's still a little bit warm outside, and well, this is it. I'm really excited about this because, again, the museum was pretty neat. I'll tell you a little bit more about it and then show you some videos and things like that, and kind of do a full recap of my stay in the morning. But if you are interested in the Potato Museum by itself, make sure you watch the very next video, because guess what? I am so excited about what I saw inside. They have some neat stuff for sure. Very different than I was expecting. It's small but mighty. That's all I can say. But for now, I guess this is how my day ends. It started off in Butte, Montana, ended up in Blackfoot, Idaho. In the morning, I have to go pick up my packages. The one has not arrived yet, so I'm assuming it's going to be a late arrival. So I've already mapped out how I'm going to get there. I've mapped out my next couple of days because I'm just trying to figure out how to move in this area. I think I changed my plans a little bit, though. Realistically, I've been kind of looking at the fire maps, and there's a fire very close to one of the places that I wanted to go. And I just don't want to put myself in harm's way, especially considering that some of the camping that I was looking at is in that area. So I think I'm going to pivot. I think on this particular trip to Idaho, I'm going to do the southeastern portion. So I'm going to do some really neat things like Craters of the Moon, and then I'm going to go to Idaho Falls tomorrow probably. I found an Oregon Trail Museum that looks absolutely spectacular, so I'm going to tackle that. And then there's a few other interesting things that I was just like, okay, we'll try this out. So I'll spend a few days in this section of Idaho just kind of bouncing around. I've mapped out a few places that I can stay that are in cities, and I've also found some places outside of town. So depending on how I feel and where I'm at in my day, I have options, which is the best thing. Tonight's gonna be interesting because there's a train track beside me. I don't know if I'm gonna hear a train or not. We'll see. Another van pulled in, but I'm not sure if they're part of Harvest Host or if they're just hanging out for a little while. Either way, it's gonna be interesting. But remember, guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I'm gonna take this extra little few hours of daylight that I have, and I'm gonna figure out some moves. I'm gonna do a little planning, go figure. This place was epic.